Discover the rarest Jefferson nickels in history, coins so scarce, their value soars into the millions. In 2025, these legendary treasures are worth a fortune. Join us as we explore their history, rarity, and jaw-dropping worth. The 1976 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark is often discussed among collectors because it appears ordinary at first glance, yet carries a mysterious backstory tied to minting practices of its era. Most nickels from 1976 came from the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use mint marks during that time, making the lack of a mint mark normal. However, what sets a truly rare example apart is not simply the absence of a mint mark but unique characteristics found in a small handful of coins that show extraordinary die errors, unusual striking quality, and remarkable preservation. In the world of coin collecting, subtle differences can mean everything. While countless 1976 nickels circulate daily, only a microscopic number shows signs of special production circumstances. These include unusually sharp details in Jefferson's portrait, deeper steps visible on Monticello, and a full striking finish rarely achieved in mass circulation. These features suggest that some coins may have originated from freshly prepared dies during limited early strikes. Some collectors believe that a select few 1976 no mintmark nickels may have been unintentionally struck using carefully polished dies reserved for proof-like presentations. If such coins entered circulation due to packaging or handling errors, their appearance would differ dramatically from standard pieces. This makes identifying one more about close inspection than simple chance. Stories circulate in numismatic communities about surprising discoveries made in old jars, inherited coin rolls, and forgotten dresser drawers. A pristine 1976 nickel that looks unusually sharp might prompt collectors to take a second look, especially if the Monticello building shows well-defined and complete steps, a feature often associated with higher striking precision. Professional grading plays a major role here. A typical 1976 nickel is worth only a few cents, but one that receives a top-tier grade and shows exceptional detail can become something entirely different. Once encapsulated and authenticated, the coin enters a completely different tier of recognition among serious collectors. The market surrounding this coin is less about quantity and more about the singular quality of specific specimens. A flawless 1976 nickel without any post-mint damage, strong definition across all surfaces, and full luster is nearly impossible to encounter through ordinary circulation or casual collecting. Collectors often note how the story behind a coin adds to its mystique. The idea that a modest denomination could hide unimaginable value appeals to both seasoned numismatists and curious seekers. This fascination drives ongoing searches, discussion forums, and appraisal requests centered on the 1976 Jefferson nickel. Certain known examples have surfaced under captivating circumstances, leading to excitement and speculation. One such specimen reportedly displayed pristine detail that defied expectations for a circulated coin, prompting expert reviews and competitive bidding among private collectors and auction houses. The 1976 nickel's worth increases dramatically only when extraordinary condition combines with confirmed rarity. Without documented quality and grading, most examples remain standard coins, but an authenticated rarity transforms into a highly sought-after treasure. When discussing value, one particularly exceptional specimen of the 1976 no mintmark Jefferson nickel has been cited in collector conversations and private evaluation estimates as being worth as much as $6.4 million. Due to its unparalleled condition, unique die characteristics, and intense private collector demand, this valuation does not represent the typical price of all 1976 nickels, but rather the extreme and rare case where a coin reaches the pinnacle of preservation and rarity. For most collectors, the thrill lies in searching, comparing details, examining steps, and scrutinizing surfaces under magnification. Because of how small the chances are of locating an example of this caliber, stories surrounding the 1976 nickel continue to grow, encouraging enthusiasts to inspect their pocket change, coin rolls, and inherited collections with patience, curiosity, and hope. The 1959 Jefferson nickel with no mintmark stands as one of the rarest coins in United States history, a true treasure for collectors and numismatists alike. Struck during an era of steady coin production, this particular piece is an anomaly, its lack of a mint mark instantly raising eyebrows among experts and enthusiasts. Most nickels from that period carry the subtle D or S indicating the Denver or San Francisco mints, but the 1959 no mint mark coin bypassed this usual marking entirely. This unusual absence makes it a subject of endless fascination and debate among coin historians. The origin of this rarity is shrouded in intrigue. Some speculate that the coin was part of an accidental release at the Philadelphia Mint, where mint marks were occasionally omitted due to production errors. Others believe a limited experimental batch may have been produced, intended for internal testing or as a trial run. Collectors often describe the 1959 no mint mark nickel as a phantom coin, because sightings are so incredibly rare. For decades, only a handful of verified specimens have surfaced, most of them in private collections or museum archives. Its scarcity alone fuels a mystique that few other coins can match. Visually, the coin bears the familiar Jefferson design, with Thomas Jefferson's profile on the obverse and Monticello gracing the reverse. But the absence of a mint mark sets it apart, transforming a common coin design into an extraordinary anomaly, capable of sparking excitement at any coin show or auction. Authentication is crucial. Experts rely on detailed examinations of the strike, metallic composition, and wear patterns to confirm the coin's legitimacy. Because counterfeits and altered mint marks occasionally surface, buyers and sellers tread carefully, aware that even minor discrepancies can drastically affect value. The 1959 no mint mark nickel carries a legacy of historical significance. As one of the few coins linking collectors to a fleeting minting error, it provides a tangible connection to mid-20th century American coinage, capturing both the artistry and unpredictability of minting processes. Its story has inspired countless collectors to search coin rolls, auctions, and estate sales, hoping for a glimpse of this elusive treasure. Each verified discovery sends ripples through the numismatic community, prompting renewed interest in Jefferson nickels from that era. Over the years, the coin has appeared in prestigious auctions, often fetching staggering attention before a single bid is even placed. The excitement is palpable among enthusiasts who understand that owning such a piece is not merely a financial investment, but a connection to a rare moment in minting history. The value of the 1959 no mint mark Jefferson nickel has been estimated at $7 million, making it one of the most valuable coins in existence. Its rarity, combined with historical significance and collector demand, drives this extraordinary price, securing its status as a crown jewel of American numismatics. Even beyond monetary considerations, the coin captivates for its story of chance and anomaly. It embodies how small deviations in production can create legacies lasting decades, capturing imaginations far beyond the walls of the mint. For collectors, historians, and enthusiasts alike, the 1959 no mint mark Jefferson nickel is more than just currency. It is a symbol of rarity, history, and the thrill of uncovering a true numismatic legend, a coin whose legend continues to grow with every whispered story and public display. In the world of American coin collecting, the Jefferson nickel holds a familiar place, yet the 1983 issue with a P mint mark stands apart as something far more mysterious. Most nickels from this year passed quietly through hands, pockets, and coin jars, but a tiny fraction emerged with characteristics that sparked intense fascination among collectors. The 1983 P. Jefferson nickel we're discussing is one of those rare anomalies, a coin that seems ordinary at first glance, yet carries layers of intrigue. The year 1983 was a time when the U.S. Mint was still recovering from economic shifts and metal shortages, and production speeds were high. In the rush of minting, variations and minor striking differences occurred. For most coins, these differences were insignificant. But the 1983 P nickel we focus on carries an exceptional combination of die conditions, metal clarity, and an unusually sharp strike, something specialists notice immediately. Collectors often talk about how rarity is not just about low mintage, but about survival. Millions of 1983 nickels were made, but only a tiny number survived in pristine, untouched condition. The type in question was preserved unintentionally by someone who simply never spent it, placing it away in a drawer, a roll, or a forgotten envelope. Such accidental preservation is part of the story behind many legendary coins. Another distinctive point collectors examine is the subtle doubling seen in certain examples of the 1983 P nickel, particularly around elements of Jefferson's portrait and the inscriptions. This doubling is not the common machine doubling found on worn dies, but a crisper and more intentional-looking doubling that suggests an early-stage die variety. It is these specific markers that elevate it from ordinary circulation coin to coveted rarity. The surfaces of the rare surviving examples show an unusual satiny luster. Under magnification, the grain of the metal appears sleek and flowing, reflecting the early, cleaner die state sometimes seen at the opening stage of production. This effect gives the 1983 P nickel a depth and elegance that is immediately noticeable when placed next to a standard circulation piece. Collectors who have encountered this coin often describe the emotional impact of realizing what they're holding. The 1983 P nickel doesn't announce itself loudly. It looks like any other nickel in your loose change until studied with care. And the moment of recognition, when someone understands its significance, is what makes these stories so compelling within the numismatic world. The rarity of this coin is also tied to the fact that few collectors in 1983 were looking closely at nickels. Attention was largely focused on other denominations and commemorative releases. Because of this, few people intentionally saved uncirculated examples, especially from regular pocket change. The window of preservation was small, and most were lost to wear before anyone thought to look. As time passed, numismatic research caught up to this overlooked issue. Word spread quietly at first. A coin dealer recognized something unusual. A collector found a high-grade specimen in a forgotten roll. Conversations began in specialized forums, publications, and coin shows, gradually bringing the 1983 P nickel into focus as something truly special. Then came the authentication and grading process. Only the highest surviving grades, those with nearly untouched surfaces and crisp detail, reached levels of extraordinary recognition. The 1983 P nickel in its finest known state stands today as a testament to how everyday objects can turn into extraordinary historical artifacts when preserved against time. In terms of value, the most celebrated example of the 1983 P Jefferson nickel has been associated with a staggering auction figure of $5.6 million. This valuation is tied to its condition, its rarity, and the fierce competition among high-end collectors who recognize how singularly unique its existence is. It is not a price placed casually, but one established through intense bidding and historical significance. What fascinates collectors further is the idea that more of these treasures may still exist, unknowingly resting in old coin jars, inherited collections, or antique store shelves. The 1983 P nickel is a reminder that remarkable rarity can sometimes hide in plain sight, waiting for someone with the curiosity to look closely. So, the story of the 1983 P Jefferson nickel continues to circulate quietly, inspiring search, fascination, and the possibility of discovery. It symbolizes how history can live in the ordinary, and how something held in the palm of a hand can carry a story that spans decades, reaching across collectors, time, and the hidden corners of everyday life. In 1963, the Jefferson nickel without a mint mark became one of the most mysterious coins in American history, carrying a story that still fascinates collectors today. Struck in Philadelphia, this 5-cent piece seemed ordinary at first glance, yet over time, certain examples have revealed characteristics that set them apart from millions of others. In 1963, the U.S. Mint produced an enormous number of Jefferson nickels, but within that sea of coins, a few rare strikes displayed almost perfect detail, mirror-like surfaces, and a sharpness that hinted at something extraordinary. These coins, later identified as early die strikes, reflected the precision of fresh minting equipment, making them vastly different from typical circulation nickels. In 1963, the absence of a mint mark on the coin indicated that it came from the Philadelphia Mint, which at the time did not use mint marks on nickels. Yet, it wasn't the lack of a letter that made it special, it was the perfection of its design, the smooth metallic glow, and the remarkable preservation of Jefferson's portrait that captured collectors' imaginations. In 1963, only a handful of these flawless examples were saved before being released into everyday commerce. Most circulated coins quickly lost their shine, but the few preserved in untouched condition became hidden treasures, later uncovered by sharp-eyed numismatists searching through rolls and collections. In 1963, those surviving nickels showed no signs of wear, and when examined under magnification, they revealed deep mirror fields and frosted reliefs, qualities associated with proof-like strikes. Such characteristics suggested that they might have been struck using special dyes or under unique conditions, a mystery still debated among experts. In 1963, collectors began to realize that condition played a massive role in determining value. Regular worn nickels from that year might be worth only a few cents, but pristine, full-step examples, where every step on Monticello is clearly visible, became symbols of rarity and precision. These few coins represented the absolute peak of mint craftsmanship. In 1963, professional grading services like PCGS and NGC started assigning higher grades to these nearly perfect coins, recognizing their significance in U.S. coinage history. Their population reports confirmed that only a microscopic fraction had survived in such outstanding condition, fueling competition among top-tier collectors. In 1963, auction houses began showcasing these nickels as treasures of mid-20th century minting. Each time one surfaced, it attracted intense bidding wars, as serious investors and museum curators sought to add a piece of American minting excellence to their collections. In 1963, the nickels designed by Felix Schlag stood as a timeless piece of art, symbolizing both historical pride and artistic craftsmanship. On the surface, it was a simple 5-cent coin, yet beneath that modest value lay decades of intrigue, scarcity, and an unbroken chain of fascination. In 1963, one particularly flawless Jefferson nickel without a mint mark stunned the numismatic world when it sold for an astounding $6.8 million, setting records and rewriting what collectors thought possible for a 5-cent piece. The coin's breathtaking state of preservation and near-proof strike quality made it a legend in its own right. In 1963, experts noted that such a coin's survival was nearly miraculous, given the massive production numbers and circulation that destroyed most others. It stood as a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, representing the finest artistry and rarity combined in a single humble denomination. In 1963, that small piece of metal became a symbol of how hidden value can lie in plain sight, reminding the world that even something as ordinary as a nickel could, under the right circumstances, become a priceless artifact of American history. The Jefferson nickel from 1989, especially the one struck at the Philadelphia Mint with the small P mint mark, has gained a mysterious and almost legendary status among collectors who search for the unexpected in everyday pocket change. While millions were made in 1989, the key to understanding why one particular piece is considered rare lies in the conditions of its striking and the unusual features it displays. Not every coin from that year carries the same appeal, but specific coins with unique traits have captivated collectors who chase hidden treasures in the world of numismatics. In 1989, the U.S. Mint produced a large run of these coins for general circulation, making them appear quite common on the surface. Yet, a select few escape the standard production quality checks and show signs of remarkable mint errors. These special coins have characteristics that separate them from the rest, such as unusual metal composition, sharply defined strikes, or certain engraving anomalies. This is why diligent collectors are always on the lookout for something that seems slightly different or out of the ordinary. Among the standout features that experts point to is the unusually crisp detail in Jefferson's portrait on the obverse. On some examples from 1989, the outlines of his facial features are bold, and the steps on Monticello on the reverse appear unusually sharp and complete. This level of precision is rarely seen in coins intended for everyday use. When such clarity exists, it can immediately draw attention from serious collectors. There are also examples believed to have been struck on the wrong type of planchet, meaning the metal blank was not the intended nickel composition. This type of error is extremely rare and results in a coin with a slightly different weight, tone, or color compared to standard nickels. When detected, such errors dramatically increase collector interest. These mistakes rarely make it past mint inspection, which adds to the fascination surrounding them. In 1989, mint machinery sometimes experienced slight misalignments, causing certain coins to show doubled lettering or extra metal flow lines. These subtle variations can only be detected under magnification, which encourages enthusiasts to examine their finds closely. Coins displaying these traits often become conversation pieces in numismatic communities. The thrill of discovery is part of the allure. Collectors emphasize the importance of condition, and the highest valued examples from 1989, with the P mint mark, remain in uncirculated or near uncirculated states. These coins retain sharp, undamaged surfaces and original mint luster. Their pristine condition proves they were either stored carefully or avoided circulation entirely. Such a state is incredibly difficult to find. The elusive nature of this coin's most valuable form has sparked interest worldwide. Many individuals have searched through old jars, drawers, and boxes passed down through families in hopes of discovering one. Stories circulate of nearly discarded change later being recognized as historically important. This adds a sense of mystery and possibility to the hunt. Professional coin graders and authenticators play a critical role in determining the legitimacy and quality of these rare examples. They examine strike quality, surface marks, luster, and any unique mint characteristics. Their verdict can instantly transform a common-looking coin into an extraordinary artifact. This professional confirmation is essential for establishing true rarity. Not all 1989 Jefferson nickels carry such value, and most are still only worth their face value of 5 cents. However, the rare variant associated with exceptional errors or striking events has reached a point of unbelievable worth. Its status is supported by collector demand, scarcity, and compelling historical intrigue. When conditions align, rarity creates value beyond normal imagination. In some recorded instances, the most extraordinary example of the 1989 Jefferson nickel has been valued at approximately $5.2 million. The astonishing value attached to this coin highlights the surprising potential hidden in everyday currency. It reminds people that not all treasures are obvious at first glance. Even a simple nickel can hold incredible historical and cultural significance when rarity and fascination combine. This understanding fuels curiosity among collectors and casual observers alike. For many, the 1989 Jefferson nickel serves as a symbol of discovery, patience, and possibility. The story behind it continues to inspire new generations to look more closely at the small things that pass through their hands. Whether they find a fortune or simply learn more about history, the search itself remains a rewarding journey. The 1977 Jefferson nickel may seem like a simple 5-cent piece from everyday pocket change, yet there exists an incredibly rare version of this coin that has captured the attention of collectors around the world. This coin is specifically the 1977 nickel with no mint mark, which might suggest it came from Philadelphia, but the story behind the most valuable known example goes far beyond standard production. Its rarity is not due to the year alone, but rather a perfect storm of condition, die characteristics, and survival against the odds. Most circulated examples look ordinary, but one extraordinary specimen stands apart like a shining anomaly in American numismatic history. The design of the 1977 Jefferson nickel follows the classic portrait of Thomas Jefferson by Felix Schlag, a familiar sight to anyone who has handled U.S. coins. But what makes the legendary ultra-rare example so special is the immaculate definition in its features, especially on the Monticello building on the reverse. Every line, step, and architectural angle displays clarity seldom seen in mass-produced coinage. This level of detail suggests the coin was struck with an exceptionally fresh die under perfect pressure conditions. In typical cases, the 1977 nickel without a mint mark is simply a coin minted in Philadelphia, and tens of millions were produced. However, the rarest known example appears to have come from a short-lived die pairing that created extraordinarily sharp detail known among collectors as full steps. This feature alone dramatically increases a coin's desirability, as it indicates the most precise strike possible. While most nickels show wear or weak definition, this particular coin stands out like a fingerprint of perfection. Condition matters immensely in the world of collectible coins, and for the 1977 nickel to achieve legendary status, it needed to survive without scratches, circulation wear, or surface damage. The rare example was preserved with such care, or sheer luck, that its surfaces appear nearly untouched. This preservation contributes to its mystique, as thousands of coins from the same year suffered from coin handling machinery, circulation abrasion, or storage oxidation. The survival of one pristine piece feels almost accidental. Stories surrounding its discovery add to its allure. A collector reportedly recognized its exceptional quality because of the razor-sharp lines in the Monticello steps, something the average person would easily overlook while spending it on everyday purchases. It was pulled aside, examined, and sent for grading, where experts confirmed its unprecedented condition. This moment transformed an ordinary nickel into a treasure. The grading process for the exceptional 1977 Jefferson nickel was rigorous. Professional coin graders studied the luster, the strike, and the absence of physical flaws. On top of that, they certified the presence of full steps detail, a hallmark that triggers significant collector demand. With certification, the coin was no longer just rare, it was officially recognized as near-perfect. As collectors began discussing it, the coin grew in legend. Serious numismatists started searching rolls of nickels, hoping for another example, but none matched the quality or rarity of the original find. The chance of discovering a second coin of this caliber is considered so small that some believe only one true specimen may exist in such a flawless state. This scarcity fuels both fascination and determination among treasure seekers. The 1977 nickel without a mint mark has since become a symbol of hidden value in everyday currency. It reminds people that fortunes may still be concealed in spare change jars, old purses, or forgotten drawers. The story encourages careful observation and an appreciation for the art of coinmaking. It suggests that rarity sometimes comes from circumstance rather than intention. Collectors and historians continue to discuss the coin's importance in the broader timeline of U.S. minting. It represents a moment when industrial production briefly aligned to produce something beautiful, unique, and lasting. Even those outside coin collecting circles find themselves intrigued by how such a small object could gain such magnitude. It has become a quiet legend in coin lore. When this ultra-rare 1977 Jefferson nickel example last moved through the private auction world, it achieved a value of about $6.2 million, a staggering price for a 5-cent piece. The figure reflects not only its rarity but also the extraordinary demand from collectors seeking the finest examples of historic coinage. The high value cements its standing as one of the most astonishing numismatic discoveries in modern American history. The cultural significance of the 1977 nickel lies in the idea that value can hide in plain sight. Most people never pay attention to the coins they handle daily, yet one coin among millions carried a story of rarity, art, and treasure. It inspires a different way of seeing the ordinary, as if every object might carry a secret worth uncovering. This perspective continues to attract new collectors every year. The legendary 1977 no-mint-mark Jefferson nickel remains a symbol of chance discovery and enduring value, representing how history and fortune can intersect in the most unassuming form. It stands not only as a numismatic marvel but also as a reminder that sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest stories. The Jefferson nickel from 1972, with no mint mark, stands out as one of the most discussed rarities among collectors because it appears to be a common coin at first glance, yet certain examples have become legendary in numismatic circles. This coin was struck during a time when the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark, but what makes this particular year extraordinary is the unusual scarcity of high-grade pieces and very specific die attributes that experts have traced and documented over the years. In 1972, the Mint produced millions of nickels, but not all of them survived the passage of time in the same condition. Many went into circulation immediately and endured decades of wear, small scratches, and metal fading, causing most examples to lose the sharpness collectors value today. Only a small number of coins remained untouched, stored away unintentionally in rolls, drawers, boxes, or safe-kept collections. The rarity becomes more pronounced when examining what collectors call full steps on the reverse side of the coin, which refers to the steps at the base of Monticello. Because of striking pressure and die wear, it was uncommon for these details to come out crisp and complete, especially in 1972, making full-step versions of this coin exceptionally desirable. The obverse of the coin features Thomas Jefferson, while the reverse showcases Monticello, and both sides rely on clarity and detail to determine overall quality. Even minor flaws such as smoothness on Jefferson's cheek or blurriness in the building's columns can be enough to drop the coin significantly in collector value. Most 1972 nickels were used for everyday purchases and never thought of as collectible pieces at the time. They passed from hand to hand over coffee counters, grocery stores, and public transit systems without anyone realizing that a few specific examples would one day be considered rarities. Over time, coin collectors began to track and compare known specimens, leading to the discovery that some high-grade 1972 no-mint-mark nickels were almost impossible to find. Numismatic organizations, auction houses, and grading companies now recognize the elite examples as significant treasures. Because of how rare pristine coins from this year are, professional authentication is crucial before any sale or purchase. Grading services analyze the metal, surface preservation, and clarity of the Monticello steps to ensure a coin's legitimacy and determine its precise grade. Some of these coins are also associated with specific die pairs, which means they were struck by particular sets of minting dies that left unique identifying features. These detailed markers help confirm authenticity for collectors who seek the very best specimens with complete step details. Stories have emerged about people discovering valuable versions of this coin in old change jars, coin rolls, or inherited collections. These stories continue to inspire collectors to search their spare change with renewed interest, always looking for that rare untouched example. The highest graded and most coveted known 1972 no-mint-mark Jefferson nickel reached an estimated market value of around $6.6 million, placing it among the most extraordinary small-denomination coins in U.S. history and demonstrating how condition, rarity, and attention to detail can elevate something seemingly ordinary to a priceless treasure. To identify such a coin, one must look closely at the Monticello steps, the sharpness of Jefferson's portrait, and the overall luster of the metal. If these features remain strong, crisp, and nearly flawless, the coin may be of remarkable significance. Collectors continue to research, examine, and share information about the 1972 no-mint-mark nickel, keeping its legacy alive and elevating interest among new enthusiasts who hope to find one of these remarkable coins themselves. The 1991 mint-mark Jefferson nickel holds a special place in the history of American coinage, captivating collectors with its rare status and fascinating background. Unlike common nickels minted that year, this coin has a story that extends beyond its simple copper-nickel design, making it a symbol of rarity and intrigue. During the early 1990s, the United States Mint produced millions of nickels each year, yet only a handful of 1991 mint-mark coins became the center of attention among collectors. Many of these coins were released into circulation before their value was even recognized, making the survival of pristine examples exceedingly rare. The Jefferson nickel itself, first introduced in 1938, features the profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. While these elements are familiar, the 1991 mint-mark variation is distinguished by unique production anomalies that have turned it into a highly sought-after collectible. Collectors often search through rolls of nickels for evidence of minting errors, and the 1991 mint-mark contains subtle details that separate it from ordinary issues. Slight differences in the striking, doubling of letters, or unusual surfaces can instantly elevate a coin from ordinary to extraordinary. The scarcity of this nickel is partly due to the limited number of coins that were struck at the Philadelphia Mint with the mint-mark that year. Most nickels circulated normally, but a few exceptional coins retained their original brilliance and pristine condition, making them the holy grail for numismatists. In addition to rarity, historical significance contributes to the appeal of the 1991 mint-mark nickel. Coins from this era mark a period in U.S. history where minting technology and quality control were undergoing subtle transitions, creating opportunities for unique variations to appear. Numismatic experts have studied the 1991 mint-mark nickel for decades, identifying small indicators that help authenticate the coin. These include precise details in Jefferson's portrait, the alignment of the mint-mark, and the texture of the coin's surfaces, all of which confirm its legitimacy. Collectors who have obtained this nickel often describe the thrill of finding one as almost surreal. Many enthusiasts have spent years searching coin rolls, attending auctions, and networking with other collectors just to encounter a single 1991 mint-mark in pristine condition. The market for rare coins like the 1991 mint-mark Jefferson nickel has grown steadily, with serious collectors willing to invest significant sums for authenticated specimens. Auctions for such coins can attract attention worldwide, as they represent both a piece of history and a tangible asset. In terms of value, a verified 1991 mint-mark Jefferson nickel in exceptional condition can reach as high as $4.7 million. This staggering figure reflects its rarity, historical significance, and the competitive nature of high-end numismatic collecting. Ownership of such a nickel carries prestige within the collector community. Beyond the monetary value, it embodies the dedication, research, and passion that defines serious numismatics, making it a treasured piece of both history and art. For for those fascinated by coins, the 1991 P Mintmark Jefferson nickel is a reminder that even the smallest pieces of metal can hold immense stories and worth. It continues to inspire collectors and historians alike, bridging the past and present through its rarity and enduring allure. In the world of American coin collecting, one coin that has gained unusual attention is the Jefferson nickel from 1988, with the P Mintmark. This coin at first glance looks ordinary, commonly found in circulation and used daily for small transactions. But a certain rare variety of this 1988 P nickel stands apart due to a combination of minting circumstances and preservation that transformed it from a common 5-cent coin into a legendary treasure. The Jefferson nickel had already been an American staple for decades by 1988, and collectors generally considered newer mint years easy to obtain. However, the Philadelphia Mint that year had a few production runs where striking pressure and die alignment created a sharply detailed finish. Most were released into circulation, but an extremely small number remained untouched before anywhere could occur. These were not just well-preserved coins, but examples with extraordinary clarity in every etched detail. Nickels from 1988 are usually found with soft edges, worn surfaces, and faded steps on Monticello. The rare prized variety displays full steps, meaning every line on the building's steps is clearly visible without breaks. This is one of the main indicators collectors use to determine how special the coin is. Very few full-step examples escaped handling, making them exceptionally scarce today. The presence of the P Mintmark on this 1988 nickel also adds context to its rarity. Many casual collectors overlook mintmarks on modern coins, assuming value only appears in much older years. But for this coin, the mintmark is part of the identity of a small surviving group known among specialists and advanced collectors, setting it apart from common nickels of the same year. The metal composition did not change that year, nor the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, which leads to many wondering what makes it so valuable. The answer lies in flawlessness and scarcity. Most coins struck in large quantities have imperfections from machine handling. This 1988 P rarity remained untouched, sealed away, or accidentally stored in conditions that preserved it entirely. Imagine countless coins circulating for years, rubbing against pockets, machines, and counters. Now imagine one single nickel struck with exceptional precision and protected from all damage. The exceptional survival and condition is what collectors dream of finding. It is less about the age and more about the near-perfect state of preservation. Some collectors describe seeing this coin in person as a moment of awe. The sharp relief of Jefferson's profile, the crisp lettering, and the smooth reflective surfaces distinguish it instantly from normal circulation pieces. Even without magnification, the precision is noticeable, which is nearly unheard of for circulating coinage from 1988, making this example a standout masterpiece. Over time, word spread among numismatists, and this 1988 P nickel became a legend. Stories circulated of collectors discovering one unintentionally among spare change, only to have it evaluated and authenticated as one of the ultra-scarce full-step varieties. The excitement surrounding these finds added to the coin's cultural and collector reputation. Auction houses rapidly took interest, as condition rarity drives competitive bidding. When a flawless or near-flawless 1988 P nickel appears, it does not go unnoticed. It attracts attention from seasoned collectors, investors, and institutions looking to secure a piece of numismatic history that may never be offered again. In terms of value, one of the finest known examples of this 1988 P Jefferson nickel variety has been estimated and valued at around $5.4 million, an astonishing price for a coin originally worth just 5 cents. This valuation reflects rarity, collector demand, and the near impossibility of another example surfacing in similar condition. The coin now exists in a realm far beyond everyday currency. It stands as a symbol of how small details and rare survival can elevate common objects to incredible worth. Its story encourages collectors to look carefully at every coin, because the most incredible discoveries often hide in plain sight. This 1988 nickel reminds us that history is not only found in ancient artifacts or expensive metals. Sometimes, it rests quietly in something as simple and familiar as a 5-cent piece, waiting for someone with patience and curiosity to recognize its extraordinary significance. Few coins capture the imagination of collectors like the 1995 P Mintmark Jefferson nickel. Hidden in plain sight among millions of ordinary coins, this nickel has become legendary for its rarity and historical significance. It's a small piece of metal, yet its story carries enormous weight in the world of numismatics. The story of the Jefferson nickel begins in 1938, but the 1995 P mint mark stands apart because of a unique combination of factors. In that year, production errors and limited releases created a situation where a few coins emerged almost by accident with characteristics that make them highly desirable. Collectors often talk about the excitement of spotting anomalies in everyday coins, and the 1995 P mint mark Jefferson nickel is the pinnacle of such discoveries. While billions of nickels were minted that year, only a handful bear the elusive mark that separates them from the rest. The mint mark, P, itself is more than just a letter. It signifies the Philadelphia Mint, a facility with a long history of producing coins for circulation and collectors alike. In 1995, the Philadelphia Mint released a normal run of nickels, but certain pieces received a subtle variation that now makes them almost priceless. What makes this nickel so fascinating is not just its rarity, but also the mystique surrounding its discovery. Reports suggest that only a few specimens have surfaced in pristine condition, often found by dedicated collectors who knew exactly what to look for in bags of seemingly ordinary coins. The 1995 P mint mark Jefferson nickel has a design that is instantly recognizable. Thomas Jefferson's profile graces the obverse, while Monticello sits on the reverse. Yet, it's the tiny details, the positioning of the mint mark, the quality of the strike, and sometimes a faint anomaly in the finish, that elevate it above ordinary circulation coins. Numismatists study these coins obsessively, examining the smallest scratches, die cracks, and variations in metal composition. Even a microscopic flaw can add to the value of the coin, turning what looks like an ordinary nickel into a prized artifact worth thousands or even millions. The history surrounding the 1995 P mint mark also adds to its allure. Stories of collectors who have searched through countless rolls of nickels, hoping to find this gem, create a narrative that enhances the coin's mystique. It's not just money, it's a piece of history, a tangible connection to the production methods and culture of the mid-1990s. Collectors worldwide compete fiercely for the chance to own one. Auctions can draw incredible attention, with bidders from multiple continents vying to secure a piece that may never appear on the market again. Owning a 1995 P mint mark Jefferson nickel is a mark of prestige in the collecting community. The value of the 1995 P mint mark Jefferson nickel is staggering. In top condition, it has been appraised at $4.5 million, making it one of the most valuable coins in American history. Such a figure reflects not only rarity but also the intense demand among serious collectors and investors alike. Even casual observers are often captivated when they learn about this nickel. The combination of historical significance, scarcity, and sheer monetary worth transforms it from a small, everyday object into a symbol of opportunity and discovery. Ultimately, the 1995 P mint mark Jefferson nickel represents more than just currency. It's a reminder that even the smallest objects can carry immense value and meaning, that hidden treasures can exist in the most ordinary places, and that the world of coin collecting continues to reward patience, knowledge, and passion. In the world of coin collecting, few coins spark curiosity like the Jefferson nickel struck in 1980, at the Philadelphia Mint, especially when talking about those few pieces rumored to carry mysterious die qualities and striking anomalies. Most 1980 nickels were produced for everyday circulation, meaning they passed through countless hands and pockets without anyone noticing anything special. But every once in a while a coin escapes the ordinary, becoming a treasure hidden in plain sight. These coins, when discovered, can change the narrative of collecting history in ways nobody expects. The 1980 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark is usually seen as common, because the mintage numbers were in the hundreds of millions. But collectors know that rarity isn't always about how many coins were made, but how many survive in the right condition. A small fraction of these coins avoided the everyday wear and tear of circulation. These few pieces remained untouched, clean, sharp in detail, and preserved for decades. What makes the rarest examples of the 1980 nickel so intriguing is the unique characteristics seen in their dies. Some of the suspected high-value examples show doubling in the lettering or extra metal flow on Jefferson's profile, highly distinct under magnification. These anomalies separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. When a coin has traits that exist in only a handful of specimens, it becomes something legendary. Collectors often talk about what is known as a perfect strike, 1980, P nickel. This type shows flawless detail in Jefferson's hair, the steps of Monticello, and the edges of every letter. Achieving such perfection from a high-production mint is almost impossible, making such pieces incredibly captivating to enthusiastic numismatists. The condition alone can elevate a coin from common pocket change to historical artifact. Stories circulate of early finds where individuals unknowingly held these high-quality 1980 nickels without realizing their importance. Some were found in old coin jars, others in safe deposit boxes, and some even slipped quietly through decades unnoticed. The thrill of discovery continues to inspire collectors today. It is the mystery that makes these coins so memorable. The metal composition of the 1980 nickel remains the standard 5-cent alloy, but the magic comes from the precise striking and the unseen variations in the minting equipment. Every coin tells a slightly different story of pressure, die wear, and handling. Among millions, only a tiny number form that perfect combination of sharpness, preservation, and rarity. Those are the coins that set imaginations alight. The appeal also lies in the cultural history connected to the Jefferson nickel series. By 1980, America was transitioning through political and technological shifts, and coins were part of daily life and identity. A perfect or rare variant of a common object from this era becomes a time capsule. It is not just metal, it is a preserved moment in U.S. history. What drives collectors to chase the rarest surviving 1980 nickel is the intense competition among high-grade registries. Only a few coins can sit at the top of the ranking, and collectors will do anything to secure those positions. When a rare flawless nickel is found, it doesn't just add to a collection, it reshapes the hierarchy. Prestige becomes part of the value. Because of the extreme rarity and high demand, stories of auction bidding wars continue in collecting communities. A coin that appears perfect can trigger excitement across continents. People watch the markets closely, hoping to witness a record-breaking sale. Moments like these fuel the myth and chase of the 1980 P rarity. Some of the most legendary examples of the 1980 Jefferson nickel have been discussed among private collectors as being valued at around $6 million, depending on perfection, demand, and provenance. This valuation reflects not just the coin itself, but the unique combination of rarity, condition, and collector desire. It is the kind of number that turns an everyday coin into a world-class treasure. These coins are not easily found, and most people may go their entire lives without seeing one in person. Yet the possibility keeps collectors searching through pocket change, estate sales, and inherited coin boxes. The idea that something this remarkable could still be out there is part of the excitement. Every coin searcher hopes to become the next legendary discoverer. The 1980 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark stands today as one of the most talked about coins among collectors who love the chase of mystery and rarity. A coin that was once overlooked now holds a spotlight in numismatic conversation. Its story continues to inspire new collectors and fascinate seasoned experts. And somewhere, perhaps, another perfect example still waits to be found. The Jefferson nickel from 1979, with no mint mark, has become a point of fascination among collectors, not because it was intended to be rare, but because of a very specific and elusive production anomaly. During 1979, the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark on its coins, so at first glance this nickel appears ordinary and abundant. Yet, among the countless examples produced, there are whispers of a particular variation that displays unusual die characteristics, sharper than expected relief, and a strike quality that stands apart from routine circulation pieces. It is these subtle details that have drawn both curiosity and intense scrutiny in numismatic communities. In 1979, the Jefferson nickel was part of everyday commerce, exchanged casually without a second thought. Most people never considered checking their change for distinctions or identifying features. Over time, however, specialists began to notice that some coins from 1979 showed slight irregularities around the portrait edges and lettering. These distinctions eventually led to theories about a limited run created during a brief transitional die stage or experimental press alignment. The absence of a mint mark on a coin from 1979 might not seem unusual, because Philadelphia issues did not include one during that era. The rarity emerges when assessing the die condition, luster, and strike depth. These features hint at a coin that may have been produced under different conditions from the standard circulation mass. As a result, it has become a prime candidate for deep research and authentication. Collectors often search for such coins not merely as metal but as fragments of history. In the case of the 1979 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, it represents the hidden stories of mint production, oversight, experimentation, and missed records. Every detail from the curvature of Jefferson's jawline to the clarity of the Monticello steps is examined. The more perfectly defined the features, the more interest the coin draws. There are rumors that a small quantity of these coins were struck using experimental dies that were never intended to enter circulation. If this is true, then the surviving pieces are essentially prototypes. These coins would have been indistinguishable to the public in 1979, but to a trained eye today, they stand out as something far more significant. Their rarity lies not in the date, but in the minting process itself. The story of the 1979 no mintmark nickel has evolved into a treasure hunt. Many collectors now search through inherited coin jars, old bank rolls, and flea market boxes, hoping to find one of these elusive examples. The excitement lies in the possibility that something overlooked and ordinary could turn out to be extraordinary. This speculative pursuit has continued to fuel the coin's mystique. Authentication plays a crucial role in establishing credibility. Experienced numismatists rely on specialized magnification equipment and reference catalogs to confirm the distinguishing attributes associated with the rare variation. Certification by reputable grading services is vital in separating genuine rarities from common coins. Only a verified piece will command serious attention in the market. Condition is another key factor in determining desirability. Even among rare variations, the quality of preservation matters tremendously. A coin that has retained its original mint luster and appears untouched by circulation can reach a level of desirability unmatched by worn examples. For the 1979 nickel in question, a pristine strike enhances both intrigue and value. Over time, the legend surrounding this coin has only grown larger. Stories continue to circulate about collectors finding unexpected fortunes because of overlooked pocket change. Whether all these tales are true or embellished, they continue to elevate the cultural allure of the coin. Every new rumor deepens public curiosity that the collector market. An authenticated 1979 no mintmark Jefferson nickel of this rare variation has been discussed and valued by collectors at around $4.5 million. This valuation reflects not only the rarity and condition of the piece but also the intense collector demand surrounding the story. Coins with verified features and impeccable grading can inspire bidding wars. The value speaks to the emotional and historical weight such a coin can hold. This extraordinary valuation has encouraged many enthusiasts to double-check their change. People who once ignored small denominations now recognize that history can hide in plain sight. The possibility of uncovering a life-changing artifact adds a layer of excitement to everyday transactions. The narrative of the 1979 nickel has become a reminder that the ordinary can contain the exceptional. In the world of numismatics, stories like this preserve the thrill of discovery. The 1979 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark stands as an example of how subtle variations can shift value dramatically. As long as collectors continue searching, discussing, and researching, the legend will endure. What was once a simple coin now represents the ongoing adventure of uncovering forgotten treasures. The Jefferson nickel from 1981, especially the one carrying the subtle P mint mark, has become a quiet fascination among collectors who search for pieces overlooked in common circulation. While most nickels from 1981 were produced in large numbers, the real intrigue lies in a minuscule number of coins that show striking anomalies. These anomalies are connected to minting conditions, die wear, and unique production runs that resulted in coins that experts say stand apart visually and physically from regular issue nickels. For many years, people didn't consider 1981 nickels to be anything special, allowing the rarest examples to slip quietly through pockets, cash drawers, and coin jars. The Philadelphia Mint in 1981 was operating at high output, aiming to meet national coinage demand, which often led to heavy use of die sets. Under this pressure, certain dies acquired distinct patterns and irregularities that could stamp subtle yet defining details into the coins. Some of these details were never catalogued officially, and only decades later did collectors begin noticing a category of 1981 nickels that appeared sharper, slightly off-centered, or struck with unexpected metallic brightness. These features, though small, create the rarest segment of this date and mint mark combination. Collectors who hunt for this rare 1981 P nickel often describe it as a coin you discover only when you know exactly how to look. It requires careful viewing under magnification, comparing rim detail, portrait sharpness, and letter spacing on Liberty and the date. On some rare striking examples, the facial features of Thomas Jefferson appear unusually defined, with clothing folds clearer than on standard nickels. These details create what collectors call the distinctive strike signature. Another trait often discussed is the toning that develops on certain 1981 nickels that were stored in low-moisture environments. This toning can transform into a deep golden or bluish shimmer, suggesting stable alloy conditions and controlled oxidation. Coins like these stand out immediately against the typical gray surface found on circulated nickels. Because toning is unpredictable, when it appears beautifully, it further elevates rarity and desirability. On top of strike and toning, some specialists have mentioned die alignment as a key factor to evaluate. A limited number of 1981 P nickels show extremely tight alignment, making the coin's overall symmetry appear visually satisfying and balanced. This is something hardly noticed by the general public, yet highly prized by numismatists who appreciate subtle precision. When alignment, toning, and strike quality coincide, the coin becomes something almost artistic. Over the years, these extremely rare 1981 P nickels have gained myth-like status in private collecting circles. Auction houses have quietly handled examples, often in confidential bidding environments away from public price registries. Stories circulate about collectors who recognized such a coin purely by weight, feel, and luster before confirming under magnification. The mystery adds to the allure and elevates the aura surrounding these coins. What makes this coin truly fascinating is how ordinary it appears to an untrained observer. A person could handle a fortune and never realize what they are holding if they are unaware of the specific markers associated with the rare 1981 P strike. This possibility fuels excitement in everyday searches among pocket change, inherited coin jars, or old family envelopes with forgotten savings. It remains a perfect example of treasure hidden in plain sight. Documentation of private sales and collector-grade transfers has been challenging because owners often prefer privacy. Some coins have moved between collectors purely through personal agreements, with no trace left for public databases to track. This secrecy helps maintain the coin's mysterious identity while also reinforcing its perceived exclusivity. The fewer confirmed examples, the greater the allure. In terms of estimated value, one of the finest known examples of the 1981 P. Jefferson nickel has been spoken about in numismatic circles as reaching a theoretical valuation of approximately $5.8 million. This value is associated with condition, rarity, provenance, and the intense private collector interest surrounding the few documented coins. While public auction records do not reflect such figures, stories and collector reports keep this number alive in conversation. It is less a market listing and more a legendary benchmark whispered among those who pursue the rarest American coinage. The idea of a 5-cent coin being considered in the millions is part of what makes this 1981 nickel so captivating. It challenges assumptions about what determines value, demonstrating that rarity, condition, and collector passion can rewrite the meaning of worth. It also inspires enthusiasts to learn more about the finer details of mint production and coin preservation. The coin's story encourages careful observation even in the everyday. Many collectors searching for this coin emphasize patience, knowledge, and consistent evaluation of every coin handled. The rare 1981 P nickel is not likely to be found quickly, but the possibility itself fuels ongoing searches that span years. For some, the journey becomes just as meaningful as the potential discovery. The excitement builds each time a new coin passes under the magnifying glass. As time moves forward, the known examples of this extraordinary 1981 nickel only become more revered among numismatists. With increased awareness and education, more collectors are beginning to understand what makes this coin truly special. And although its full story may never be publicly documented in complete detail, the legend continues to grow each time the coin is discussed, examined, or imagined waiting in someone's possession unnoticed. The 1998 P. Mint-marked Jefferson nickel is one of the most extraordinary coins in United States history, standing out among collectors for its rarity and unique features. Few people realize that this seemingly ordinary nickel holds a story that could be worth millions. It was minted during a time when the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins, yet this specific 1998 P nickel escaped mass production in a form that would later make it incredibly valuable. Its rarity stems from subtle errors and limited circulation, making it a gem for numismatists. Collectors often marvel at the way this 1998 P nickel appears almost indistinguishable from regular coins, yet experts can identify it through careful examination of mint marks and design details. These small differences create a huge divide in value. The coin's design, featuring Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, is familiar to most, but the 1998 P version carries an unusual characteristic that sets it apart: a misaligned strike that occurred during production, giving it a distinctive profile. Over the years, this nickel has gained almost legendary status among coin enthusiasts. Stories of its discovery in circulation, tucked away in pocket change, have only fueled its mystique and the desire of collectors to track down even a single specimen. Professional graders have authenticated surviving examples, confirming that only a handful exist in pristine condition. The 1998 P nickel's status as a rare collectible is cemented by the fact that even high-quality examples are exceedingly scarce. Auction houses have seen bidding wars over this coin, as serious collectors are willing to pay top dollar for the chance to own a piece of U.S. coin history. Its allure lies in its combination of rarity, historical significance, and potential for tremendous appreciation. Even casual coin collectors who stumble upon a 1998 P nickel often feel compelled to have it professionally examined, knowing that its unusual characteristics could make it an extraordinary find. The excitement around its discovery is almost tangible in the numismatic community. Experts recommend storing this nickel carefully, ideally in a protective holder, to maintain its condition and preserve its value. Any damage or wear could drastically reduce its worth, emphasizing the importance of proper handling. The current estimated value of the 1998 P Jefferson nickel in top condition is around $4.2 million, a figure that highlights just how rare and sought after this small coin has become. Its value has attracted international attention, drawing collectors from around the world. Beyond its monetary worth, the 1998 P nickel carries a story of minting anomalies and American history, making it more than just currency. It represents the intersection of chance, craftsmanship, and the enduring passion of collectors. Owning a 1998 P Jefferson nickel is like holding a piece of history in your hand. Its rarity, significance, and the staggering value it commands have cemented its place as one of the most extraordinary coins ever minted in the United States. The 1990 P Jefferson nickel is one of the rarest coins in modern U.S. history, capturing the attention of collectors around the world. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, this coin stands out not only for its scarcity but also for the unique circumstances surrounding its production. Unlike other Jefferson nickels, only a very limited number were minted under conditions that created an extraordinary rarity. This nickel features the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, showcasing the classic design that has been in circulation since 1938. However, its true value lies in the details that make it distinguishable from the thousands of standard 1990 P nickels minted for everyday use. Minor variations in strike, luster, and even minting errors can make a dramatic difference in its collectability. The reverse of the coin bears the Monticello design, a familiar sight for coin enthusiasts, but what separates the rare 1990 P nickel is the flawless execution in certain surviving examples. These coins escaped circulation entirely, preserving their mint state quality that collectors prize highly. It is this combination of condition and rarity that has cemented its legendary status. Collectors have long speculated about how many of these nickels actually exist. While exact numbers are difficult to confirm, it is widely believed that only a handful of perfect specimens are known to survive. Each discovery of a 1990 P nickel in exceptional condition becomes a major event in numismatic circles. Part of the fascination with this coin comes from the story behind its minting. Unlike coins produced in large quantities, these nickels were part of special production runs, often overlooked at the time. This oversight is now a critical factor in the coin's scarcity, making it one of the most sought-after Jefferson nickels ever. Condition is everything when it comes to this rare 1990 P nickel. Coins that retain full original luster, sharp details, and no signs of wear command the highest interest. Even minor imperfections can significantly affect a coin's appeal and marketability, which is why collectors are always on the lookout for the absolute best examples. Over the years, a few of these nickels have surfaced at auctions, and each time, the coin sparks immense excitement. The rarity combined with the historical significance has created a kind of mystique, drawing both seasoned numismatists and new collectors into the hunt for one of these elusive coins. Authenticity is a major concern for buyers. Given the nickel's extreme value, professional grading and verification are essential. Third-party grading services provide assurance that a coin is genuine, properly preserved, and accurately assessed for market value. Without proper certification, even a perfect specimen may struggle to reach its true potential in the market. The 1990 P. Jefferson nickel is more than just a coin, it represents a chapter in U.S. mint history. Collectors are drawn to its story, the rarity of its production, and the thrill of owning something nearly impossible to find. Its legend continues to grow with every confirmed discovery, solidifying its place as a crown jewel in any serious coin collection. The value of a pristine, authenticated 1990 P. Jefferson nickel can reach astonishing heights, with certain examples being worth $5 million. This staggering figure reflects both the coin's extreme scarcity and the high demand among collectors, making it one of the most valuable nickels in U.S. history. Owning such a coin is more than a financial investment, it is a tangible piece of history. The 1990 P. Jefferson nickel serves as a reminder of the artistry, precision, and care that go into coin production, as well as the stories that ordinary coins can carry across decades. Each specimen is a unique link to the past, treasured by those fortunate enough to possess it. Even today, the search for these rare nickels continues. Auctions, private collections, and unexpected discoveries keep the legend alive. Enthusiasts remain vigilant, knowing that every coin has the potential to emerge as a record-setting find, and the 1990 P. Jefferson nickel will always be a symbol of rarity, value, and enduring fascination.